Let's get lost.
What is going on, my beautiful Scorpios? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or North Node. Sending you guys so much love, and I'm hoping that you're intentionally having a blissful day. And if you're not, boo-boo, that's okay too, no matter what you're loved. But other than that, disclaimers. Actually, before I do that, I want to give a shout out to all my Scorpio subscribers. Thank you guys so much for your love, for your generosity, for your care, and trusting me on your journey. I truly appreciate you supporting this community I'm trying to build so we can go on our spiritual journey with more ease and clarity. But other than that, thank you all so much. I really love you. And if you want to be a part of this community, you can hit that subscribe button right below. But other than that, disclaimer, Scorpios, tarot should not dictate your life. My readings are not here to tell you what to do. My readings are simply here just to give you clarity, guidance, upliftment, or confirmation on what your soul already knows for your best and highest good. So, Scorpios, if the message doesn't resonate with you, then check out your other signs or check back next time. I have a ton of other videos for all the other signs in your chart. And if it does resonate with you, oh my God, my throat. Some of you Scorpios need to speak up. That's what I just heard. But if it does resonate with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. If you want to book your own personal reading, all that information is down in the description box below. But other than that, let me get a drink of water because my throat already dry. Alright, excuse me, you guys. But we're gonna get into inner child healing. Now, what inner child healing is, my beautiful Scorps, that we go within the depths of our own psyche. We look at our shadows, what people consider demons, and we go within and we look at the parts of ourselves that we do not like, our triggers that we do not like about ourselves. Because the very things that trigger us, the shadows that we have that we avoid, are the very things that rule our conscious way of being. So this is just bringing awareness to those triggers and those shadows and those codependencies and the wounds, so you can be aware of what is potentially blocking you from moving forward in your life and having happiness as well. Because what has happened in our childhood, all that trauma, all of that pain could ripple into our adulthood that cause us to have these certain beliefs or tonalities or characteristics or personalities. So we're going to dive into understanding what triggers you currently are facing, the main ones that are potentially blocking you from moving forward on your life. And then we're going to get into the shadows behind them of why it is that you are being triggered. Then we're going to get into some codependency cards of why it is you're holding on to these shadows and these triggers that are causing you to relive this pain. Because understand, you guys, codependencies don't only have to be about you being codependent on a person or substances or things. They could be about codependent on negative thought patterns, pain. Sometimes we defend our pain because we justify it. So we're going to get some codependencies, and then we're going to get into what has happened in your childhood that has caused this wound and how to heal it. And then we're going to get some advice on the tarot on how to get in depth on how to heal it even more. And please understand, healing is not an overnight thing, you guys. It is a commitment. Self-love is a commitment. It's a priority. Healing is a priority because you're letting go of a lot of conditionings that you picked up as a child that are not even your own. So that's the whole point of doing this. But let's see. Spirit, what triggers are my Scorpios in the collective currently facing in their life that are preventing them from moving forward that has stemmed from childhood? What are 3 triggers? Can I get 2, please? Thank you, Spirit. You're so good to me. I feel like it's going to be a straightforward but in-depth reading because you Scorpios are very deep. Most deepest at the water sign, I consider. But all right. So your first trigger is when I fail to set boundaries with others, I become angry with myself for days. Yeah, definitely a Scorpio thing. My Scorpio is in Venus, and of course, Venus is all about relationships. So damn. But your second trigger is when I don't feel good about myself, I respond in negative words and actions. Last one, when I feel disrespected, instead of addressing it, I'll start an argument. That's definitely a Scorpio thing. definitely a Scorpio thing. Okay, Scorpios, for the reason why I feel that this trigger is here in your life, when I fail to set boundaries with others, I become angry with myself for days. Some of you Scorpios grew up in an environment in your childhood where you had to give up yourself a lot. You had to abandon yourself a lot, meaning that maybe you always had to take... Some of you Scorpios, I'm hearing that you had to take care of your parents. You had to take care of your caretakers. You had to take care of your siblings. And this caused you to be a giver, a people pleaser, a caretaker. And as you got older, you became more of a people pleaser to the point that you gave so much of yourself to the point of depletion, because you always give the benefit of the doubt. But I feel like some of you Scorpios gave people too many chances that didn't deserve it. So it's like you chose people that didn't choose you. And at the end of the day, you giving so much... it showed you how much it meant nothing. So you get down on yourself and you get angry because you knew deep down from your intuition that you should have said no, that you should have walked away, that you should not have tolerated, that you should have let it go. But it's like this is stemming from the fact that some of you Scorpios had to be caretakers too young, or that you had to please your family or your caretakers to their benefit, and you had to abandon yourself. So pretty much you felt like you couldn't be you, or you didn't have a chance to be yourself. So therefore you kind of just like tolerated anything as you got older, because it's like you felt like you weren't given much as a child, so I might as well take what I'm given, because that's, you feel like that's all you deserve. Yeah, it's definitely what I'm getting. So people pleaser mentality, definitely. All right. Now, the reason why I feel the second trigger is here: when I don't feel good about myself, I respond to negative words and actions. Some of you Scorpios have troubles communicating. Like I said in the beginning, when I was like having throat fucking problems, like I haven't had a gallon of water in like my whole life. I'm just thinking about Tony Robbins, how dry his throat is, and like, damn, bro, you haven't had a gallon of water since you were born. Let me stop. Excuse me, guys. I had to take another sip because my throat is really, really dry. Like, it's trying to close up. Some of you Scorpios have troubles. You Scorpios have troubles expressing yourself because you believe vulnerability leads to pain. So I believe some of you Scorpios believe that love is pain. So you fear allowing people in. You fear being vulnerable because you've been taken advantage of. So therefore, when you get triggered again by any insecurity that you have, it's like you ripple back to those times where when I was vulnerable, it wasn't good, it was bad, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to respond in the way that I feel, and I'm going to make you feel the way that I feel. And that's how hurt people hurt people. That's how hurt people, because you were really hurt when you were younger. In your childhood, I feel some of you Scorpios have faced trigger warning. Some of you Scorpios have gone through sexual trauma. You have. I sense that. So that brings up a lot of insecurities, probably about your body, probably about yourself. You probably have a distorted self-image, meaning that you see yourself in the worst light, not the best light. Yeah, definitely I'm getting. All right. Now the last one, when I feel disrespected, instead of addressing it, I'll start an argument. Yeah, so some of you Scorpios have grew up probably in a household where there was no such thing as communication or maturity or civil mannerism, meaning that you got, like, you probably grew up in a household that was more arguing, physical fighting. I'm hearing some of you Scorpios, trigger warnings, have parents that physically fought a lot. And it's like you grew up in a very toxic environment and around a lot of drama. So that's how you operate. That's what happens. What you around, you become. So you operate like that. And it's because you don't know how to be vulnerable. You don't know how to be expressive, or you feel fearful to be expressive. So you'd rather be argumentative because you feel like that is the smart way to go, because you feel like that is the only way you will be heard. Wow. That's deep. Ooh. It's always deep when I do Scorpios. Alright. Spirit, what is the shadows behind these triggers that are preventing my Scorpios from moving forward? What are some shadows? What is the shadow behind when I fail to set boundaries with others, I become angry myself? Bro, didn't we say that in the beginning? Oh my god. I love tarot because it literally just... All the signs I did today, you guys, have literally just... Tarot has confirmed everything I've been saying, and I just fucking love how the intuition works with divination tools. Like, oh my god, it's so cool. But alright. So, the shadow behind when I fail to set boundaries with others, I become angry myself, is codependency. This is a relationship addiction. You are relying too heavily on the other person for your sense of self-worth. Give yourself more self-love. Yes. The reason why I feel in my gut why you Scorpios are heavily fixated on relationships, because don't get me wrong, I used to be the same type of person. Seek after relationships, chase people, try to prove my worth, deplete myself, give so much of myself, try to fix people, because I thought if I fixed them that they will learn to love me and they'll give me the appreciation that for all the work that I did to be with them. But I used to be just like that. I was really, really codependent to the point, you guys, the person that I loved, like I really, really loved, I wanted her attention so much that I would call her like 100 times. That's how unhealthy I was. That's how unconscious I was. And it was all because it stemmed from codependency. And codependency really comes from abandonment wounds. It comes from abandonment wounds. You don't want to let... It's like you think you need to hold on to what's unhealthy because you think that's all the good that you will get. Yeah. And it's because a lot of you Scorpios probably dealt with being in a toxic environment where there was no love, where there was no healthy boundaries, where there was no healthy sense of relationships. So it's like you were taught how to be attached. You learn how to attach yourself to things and become codependent because you didn't know how to be self-reliant, because you weren't taught to be self-reliant. You weren't taught to love yourself or respect yourself because you grew up in a household where maybe... I'm hearing a lot of you Scorpios had a mother who didn't even know how to stand up for herself or speak up for herself or really love herself, and therefore you picked up on her characteristics. And I'm getting codependencies here, like not just relationship addictions, but a lot of addictions too, probably with drinking. I'm just mostly getting drinking. So this is stemming from not getting the love that you deserved as a kid, definitely. It breaks my heart to hear that because I've been through the same thing too, so I understand. Alright, Spirit, what is the shadow behind this second trigger? When I don't feel good enough about myself, I respond to negative words and action. What is the shadow behind this? Yeah. The shadow behind that is arrogance. If you're insecure or fear rejection, this behavior surfaces. Work on accepting your true self and give yourself love as you are needing it. Some of you Scorpios have a lot of pent-up anger. A lot of pent-up anger. And understand that anger stems from sadness. And sadness stems from feeling disconnected to love, to life, to yourself. And I feel the reason why a lot of you Scorpios lash out is because you feel that's the only way you will be heard. You feel that's the only way you'll be seen. You feel like that's the only way to be felt. But this shadow is here because it's literally telling you, you think you're acting in the way where you're being heard and seen, but you're really acting in a manner where people see you as arrogant, or the universe sees you as arrogant. And it's all because, I'm gonna be honest, Scorpios, this stems from in your childhood. Some of you have dealt with arrogant parents, siblings, or anyone in your environment, or whoever was your caretaker. I felt like this person, a particular person in your environment, made you feel like you were worthless, made you feel like you weren't enough. And so you grew up, it's like some of you Scorpios didn't have a childhood, so it's like you grew up still being a child because you didn't have the childhood. So people see you as arrogant or immature, but really you're just someone who didn't have the chance to express yourself when you were younger. So it's like this arrogance really stems from insecurity and fear of rejection. So you lash out because you fear being rejected and unwanted. And the shadow shows up as arrogance because it's trying to lead you back to understanding that all the love that you desire and need is within yourself. Realize how worthy and lovable you are. That's beautiful. All right. Now, let's see. When I feel disrespected, instead of addressing it, I'll start an argument. What is the shadow behind this, Spirit? What is the shadow behind this? You got two, like a thought. All right, so you have prejudice. What if you were categorized into a group and given attributes that were false without truly knowing who you are? Okay. The second shadow is demanding. When displayed, you are most likely making the other person feel inferior. Check your anxiety and depression. Okay. So this is demanding. When I feel disrespected, instead of addressing it, I'll start an argument. I feel like some of you Scorpios get compared a lot. A lot of comparison about you. People compare you to other people. People compare you to their ex. People compare you to people who have hurt them. I'm feeling like a lot of comparison. And this makes you very, very angry because you feel like you're not being seen just for you. Just for you. And with the demanding card here, the demanding card is here is because you're trying to control how people perceive of you. But really, you trying to control how people perceive of you is you projecting onto them that you are anxious about yourself. That you don't know who you are. That you have fears about yourself. Some of you Scorpios do deal with depression. I do feel that. And I feel like the reason why you would deal with this depression because you have a lot of pent-up sadness within you. Hence, anger stems from sadness. And it's all because I feel like something happened in your childhood where it just like, as you grew up, you realized how disrespectful that was, how violating that was, how messed up that was. Some of you guys got bullied tremendously. Tremendously to the point you kind of defined your worth by that and affected you as you got older to the point that it's hard for you to connect to people. So therefore you only see the worst in other people rather than seeing the best. And I feel like you see the worst in life rather than seeing the best in life. And it's all because I feel that when you are like this, you are easily manipulated to the point you allow anything outside of you to affect you. Hence why you try to be demanding, control how everyone sees you. But at the end of the day, this shadow is here to try to tell you it doesn't matter how people think of you. You should not allow this to bother you. Because how people treat you is how they treat themselves behind closed doors. You should never take anything personally because the battles people try to fight with you are the battles they're facing with themselves that they don't know how to end. So they rather fight and project and judge and disrespect because that's how they feel. And they want people to feel like them. Hence, hurt people hurt people. But realize, Scorpios, when you lower your standards, meaning that when someone disrespects you and you meet them at their level, you're easily manipulated, but you're also proving to them that you don't respect yourself. So a lot of you Scorpios try to control the situation by being demanding instead of being vulnerable and expressing your truth. Alright. I hope this is bringing you guys clarity. If it is, please let me know your feedback in the comment section below. Really would love to know. Alright, so let's get into codependencies. Even though you already have codependencies there. Alright, Spirit. What is it that my Scorpios are still holding on to? What codependencies are my Scorpios still holding on to that are causing this trigger in the shadow to be on repeat? What are they holding on to? Are making them relive this? What are my Scorpios holding on to, Spirit, that's causing them to relive this trigger of when they don't feel good enough about themselves and acting arrogant? What are they still holding on to that's causing this? Alright. Wow. That, just looking at that, you guys, I've literally recently dealt with a Scorpio who is just like this, and I'm not judging. I'm not judging at all. It's just like, it just shook me because I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I know a Scorpio literally like this, like, going through this, and, you know, I give my love. I really give my fucking love, like, God, I do. I wish I could help everyone in the world, you know what I mean? But, it's my Libra, Capricorn, Leo self. But, alright, Spirit. What is it that my Scorpios are still holding on to that is causing them to play this trigger in the shadow on repeat? Thank you, Spirit. Okay. So let's get it. So, the codependency that you have that's causing you to replay this trigger in the shadow is, you know the situation has only gotten worse. Why do you continue to stay? Yeah. Some of you Scorpios are having closure issues right now with a particular relationship. And I feel like this relationship has brought you a lot of clarity about your life and about yourself. But at the same time, I feel like you still have an attachment towards them. And it's only because that some of you Scorpios are having trouble being by yourself. And I just heard a lot of you Scorpios just say, I'm alright being by myself. But here's the thing. If things keep replaying in your life over and over and over and over again, and you're still questioning them why, you guys are scared to be alone. And I say this because when a pattern keeps repeating in a relationship, for example, meaning that even though you just broke up with someone because of certain characteristics, you may end up with someone new, but that person may have a different body and face but the same characteristics as the old one, you know what I mean? So I'm sensing that you Scorpios, I'm gonna be honest, you Scorpios jump from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship is because you don't have the courage to be by yourself. And being by yourself holds a lot of power. Holds a power a lot of people can't handle. That's why a lot of people don't like being alone. And here is the power that being by yourself holds, because I've chosen to be by myself now, you guys. I've chosen to give up my codependency to heal that so I can learn to love myself. And that is, when you learn to love your own solitude, meaning fall in love with yourself, discover yourself, make yourself a project, meaning that discovering yourself is the number one priority, because when you discover yourself, you discover your worth and you express that to the world because you know how to, because you know who you are. And being by yourself teaches you how to fall in love with your solitude. And here is the thing: when you fall in love with your solitude, boo-boo, you make decisions based off of self-love. You don't make decisions based off of loneliness anymore. Because if you truly knew how to be alone, you wouldn't tolerate bullshit like this. You wouldn't tolerate toxicity. You wouldn't tolerate people disrespecting you or comparing. You wouldn't tolerate any of that if you knew your worth. So Scorpios, all I'm hearing is that Why do you keep going back to situations that you know are making you feel more worse about life? What is it within you that makes you believe you deserve this? That is what you're holding on to. You're holding on to the thought of thinking that you deserve only the worst. That's what I'm getting. Now, the second codependency of why is that you keep reliving this trigger and the shadow is humor. Is the situation really that funny? Your humor only masks the problem, not solve it. Yeah. Like I said, I was dealing with a Scorpio who was like this. Always using humor, like, through arrogance and being very immature and not being vocal and vulnerable and communicative like a human being should in order to let their emotions be known. So I feel some of you Scorpios, you mask a lot of problems through humor. You do. You really, 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 really do. And Spirit, why is that? I really want to know. Can you please give me, why is that? Why do people use humor to mask their problems? Give me a moment, you guys. I'm going to channel real quick because I really want to know. Oh, wow, you guys. Okay. Spirit just told me humor is the easiest way to avoid your own bullshit. Like, for example, they just gave me an example. I used to have this friend, right? Well, acquaintance, I would say. And this person would joke around about a lot of shit. But, for example, so I dropped this person. And this person had jokes like, oh, how's your business going? Is it failing? Ha 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 ha. You know, you ever dealt with people like that? Who say shit and they mask it with a laugh? Scorpios. You think humor is going to get you out of avoiding what you need to face. That is what you're holding on to. Avoidance. Now, even though I'm saying this with a very stern tonality, just understand I'm taking this advice as well. I take all of my readings as my own advice as well. And, you know, I say this with authenticity and honesty. Like, you know, healing ain't a joke. Problems, issues ain't a joke. So when you really face them, then you actually really help yourself grow. But if you make everything a joke, it's like you're becoming avoidant, and this is what causes arrogance on a consistent basis. This is what causes rejection. This is what causes you to self-sabotage good things, because you're not willing to be vulnerable and authentic enough to be honest about how you feel as a person. Now, what you're holding on to that is keeping this trigger and these shadows alive is attitude of authority. Did you write the book of I love this card. Attitude of authority. Did you write the book on love? You can't make people love you if you don't love yourself. Some of you Scorpios feel like you know what is best within life and for everyone. Even though you mean it with good intentions, I know that. But you gotta understand, Scorpios, that no one's gonna see your point of view until you see your point of view. No one's gonna see you how you want to be seen until you see yourself that way. And I feel like what you're holding on to is you're trying to control how people see you. Some of you Scorpios are wearing some false mask. Oh yeah. Being very deceptive towards yourself, to the point that you act, be honest, a little bit superficial. Because you want people to perceive you in a certain light. But deep down, it's like You can't make people believe in an image of yourself if you don't even believe in it. And you think arguing is going to try to justify how you feel, but really arguing is just showing how much you don't have control over how you perceive life and yourself. I hope that makes sense, Scorpios. I hope it does. Alright, let's get some inner child cards on this. Alright, Spirit. What has happened in my Scorpio's childhood that has caused this trigger, this shadow codependency, and this attachment? Every fucking sign got this. I think for one sign, but majority of the signs I did yesterday and today have gotten this card, and that is past. You were taught not to cry. Excuse me, guys. I got a burp. Every time I burp, I know it's time for me to eat. But in the past, you were taught not to cry. Some of you Scorpios need a good cry. And I don't mean a cry of, I'm just going to let it out and not face anymore. A cry where I'm finally going to be here with myself, not run away anymore, and just finally fucking feel it. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of staying in the stagnation of pain, and I'd rather go through the growing pains of growth and letting go, rather than reliving over and over and over this pain that I don't deserve to endure anymore. And that's exactly it. Once you let it out, you purge, and you're the water sign, boo-boo. Purge that shit out. Purge it out. Purge it out. It's like when you wash a dish. Who did I say this to? I think I said this to Libras or Virgos. It's like when you wash a dish and you can't, like a white dish, and you can't wait till it's squeaky clean because you want to see all the whiteness. It's just like that, Scorpios. When you cry, you're cleansing out all that residue within you of the old, of the past, of the pain, of the disappointments, of all that you have suppressed. You're releasing it through your tears, and you're cleansing, and you're purging, and you're emptying out to create space for healing. And the way to heal this wound of relying on things outside of you instead of yourself, is by now you are aware that expressing sadness by crying is healing and healthy. Anger stems from sadness. That sadness stems from disconnection. You are disconnected from yourself, Scorpios, and the only way to connect to yourself again is by allowing yourself to feel what you've been holding on to for so long that doesn't need to be held on anymore. Because understand, when people put pain onto you, that is their pain. It is not your pain. So how people treated you has nothing to do with you. So Scorpios, is not your fault. Forgive yourself for believing that you think you deserve the worst, and realize that when you cry, you're letting go of the responsibility of other people's bullshit. And you're letting go of the pain that you have created from people's bullshit onto yourself. So forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You don't have to hold on to it anymore. Please know that. All right. Second one. Spirit, what has happened in my Scorpio's childhood that's caused this trigger, arrogance, and for them to mask their feelings? What has happened in their childhood caused this? Yes, I did say that in the beginning. I said it. I claim it. In the past, Scorpios, in your childhood, you felt abandoned. Some of you Scorpios probably had a parent that walked out on you. I just heard some of you Scorpios had a parent that hurt you, caused the majority of the insecurities that you face today, and they abandoned you. I'm so sorry. I just have to say that. I'm so sorry. And just know you are loved. I don't need to know who you are, but I love you. And just know you are lovable. You're so lovable. And I know you're lovable. You know why? Because God keeps waking you up every day. Because God feels that you're worthy, and God feels that the world needs you. So God loves you, and please know that. Please know that God loves you, and please know that God is working through me, and know that I love you too. So, Scorpios, you have an abandonment wound, hence the codependency. You have an abandonment wound because you probably put all your trust in the wrong people, and they hurt you. And understand that the relationship we had with our parents, we're going to play that out into our relationships as adults. So you're still holding on to the pain of abandonment wound. And the way to heal this, Scorpio, is by realizing now you show up for yourself daily and surround yourself with people who love and care for you consistently. So your job, Scorpios, is to choose people that choose you, but to choose yourself first. So you can build the discernment and have good judgment of character to know who is good for you and who is going to help you evolve on your journey, not help you devolve. I was about to say devolve. That's not even a word, but you know what I mean. So Scorpio, true people that choose you, but also choose yourself, so you can build a good judgment of character to realize who deserves your energy, who deserves your trust, and who does not. All right, Spirit. What has happened in my Scorpio's childhood that has caused this trigger, these shadows, and feeling disrespected? What has happened in my Scorpio's childhood? That's too many. What has happened in my Scorpio's childhood that's caused all these? All right, 2. Okay. You have past. You didn't understand why you moved locations frequently. Now you are creating a stable living environment for yourself that is predictable. So I feel a lot of you Scorpios, the reason why this trigger of feeling disrespected and wanting to argue is because I feel like, even though it says move here, maybe a lot of you Scorpios moved around a lot. And as a kid, that could affect you because you feel like you're unstable, like you're unsafe. But that's what I'm sensing. A lot of you Scorpios in the past, you felt unsafe. Unsafe with authority. Unsafe with a lot of people. But especially with authority. Authority does come from caretakers as well. So a lot of you Scorpios didn't feel safe in your environment around your caretakers. Yeah, that's stuff I'm getting. But I feel like the only way to heal this is by now feeling safe within yourself. I want you guys to understand too, when you go through trauma is energy, and energies are emotions, and emotions are energy emotion. When we don't deal with those emotions and those traumas, they become blockages in the body. And hence why people get a lot of physical ailments, a lot of illnesses and sicknesses. It's because they have a lot of pent-up trauma. Hence where tension comes from in the body. Hence stress. Is because we haven't dealt with what we felt in the past. And you Scorpios, the way to heal this is by questioning what has made you feel unsafe. What has made you feel unsafe? What has made you feel like you have to control everything? What has made you feel like you need to argue? What has made you feel like you need to justify your pain? When you could get down to the root of that, then you could feel safe within yourself. You could feel safe in knowing that what you went through has empowered you, not diminished you. And when you could do that, you can start creating a stable living environment for you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically that is healthy for you. Now, the second thing that's happened in childhood, I definitely feel this, is past. You weren't given enough attention. And I feel that so much. I feel that. Because some of you Scorpios have a huge wall up. You have a huge wall up. You're very defensive. Very defensive and very protective to the point that your self-protection makes you sabotage a lot of good things and relationships in your life. And it's all because you weren't given the attention you needed as a child. You weren't given that love, that nurture, that care, that kindness. So you don't know where to get it from. You don't know how to receive it. You don't even know what it really is. So therefore, since you weren't given that enough attention, it's like you have to be demanding. You have to stand up for yourself because people don't know who you are. It's because you really haven't had a sense of understanding who you really are. since you haven't been given the nurturing, the attention you need to attend to that. But the way to heal that, Scorpio, is by realizing now you understand that outside approval and validation is temporary and not long lasting. Yes. So a lot of you Scorpios, you try to make people perceive, you want people to perceive you a certain way is because you try to seek validation and approval from others. But the way to heal that is by realizing, yes, it's not long lasting. It's very temporary, but realizing that people don't even see themselves in the best light. So if majority of people are walking around not loving themselves, then they're going to give you how they treat themselves. Like shit. So Scorpios, don't rely on people's opinions and perspectives of you when at the end of the day, their only job is to focus on themselves and find their own worth. So the way to heal this is by realizing that you don't need outside approval or validation. All you need is how you see yourself. And if you have a distorted self-image, how do you want to change that and how you're going to commit to that change? All right, let's get some advice. This was good. This was deep. I really hope this is helping you guys. I really, really do. All right. So let's see. Spirit, we need some advice from our beautiful Scorps. So they can walk and move forward in their life with more harmony and love. All right, Spirit, what advice do you have for my beautiful Scorpios to help them heal this wound of suppressing their emotions and being codependent? What advice do you have for them? Ace of Wands. Scorpio, find what brings you enjoyment. Because the Ace of Wands is all about the universe or God bringing you a passionate new beginning. So I feel that your advice is find what brings life to your heart. Find what brings the child out within you. Because I feel when you find that passion that you love doing, that you're so engulfed in it, that you're so present, that when you can focus on that, I'm not saying all the pain of the past will go away, but you start focusing on the best things in life. You start focusing on the good things of life to the point you start seeing the good within yourself. So Scorpios, your advice here in order to heal this wound is by realizing you can have the opportunity to choose happiness or suffering. So where will you put the passion in? Defending your limitations or justifying your strengths? That's deep. I like that. That's really good. I really like that. All right, Spirit. What advice do you have for my Scorpios for them to heal this abandonment wound and this scarcity, vulnerability? Five of Swords, Ten of Swords, Knight of Swords, the Lovers, the Ace of Cups. So with the Five of Swords here, Six of Swords, damn, that's really in order. Five of Swords, Six of Swords, I'm saying that. So, Scorpios, my Swords. With the Five of Swords here, the Six of Swords. Even though the Five of Swords is about someone trying to think they're better than everyone else, but what I'm getting here is that it's okay to cut off the past. It's okay to say no. It's okay to make yourself a priority right now. It's okay to win for you. It's okay to fight off what no longer serves you, to let go of a person, to let go of the old. It is okay to make yourself a priority and only fight for what you think is important, not for what others want and what they think is important. Now, the Six of Swords here, mentally, it's time for you to let it all go because you deserve peace. It's okay to want peace, Scorpios. So your advice is, if you want peace, have it. If you want to make yourself a priority, do it. The only thing you need to fight for is you. That's it. All right. Woo. I love this. I love this, Scorpios. All right. Spirit, what advice do you have for my Scorpios for them to be able to heal this wound of feeling unsafe and feeling like they're not lovable? That was my mistake of shuffling it like that. But let's get it. Page of Pentacles. Why the Page of Pentacles? Ten of Swords and Lovers. Didn't I just say that already? I did just say that. Okay, they came out for a reason. Page of Pentacles is all about new messages, a new stability. That's interesting. So what I'm getting here, your advice with the Page of Pentacles is that put your focus and energy on things that are going to help you grow in life. Some of you Scorpios have really been focusing on the lack, on the worst, on losing, fear. But the Page of Pentacles here, slowly but surely, when you start putting more energy and focus on the things that are going to help you grow, things that bring you happiness, things that you want to obtain and become, your advice is start slow, start small, and understand where you are. Doesn't justify yourself as a person. It just means you have the opportunity to allow this new beginning to be the start of a true, stable foundation. All because you decided to take all those swords out your back and let go of the betrayal, the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, the traumas, because you knew on the other side of this darkness is a new beginning, a new day. And when you do that, you realize you have the power to make loving, healthy decisions based on what is best for you in your life. And that will lead you to someone and to things and to people that will express all the inner work that you have done, all because you decided to focus on you and choose you. Wow, I love this. This was such a good reading. Such a good reading. My Scorpios, that is all I have for you for this inner child healing reading. If this helped in any way, resonated with you, got you some clarification or confirmation, please let me know your feedback in the comment section below. I really would love to know your guys' experience on these readings. But other than that, Scorpios, if you got any clarity and if this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to book your own personal reading, all that information is down in the description box below. But until then, Scorpios, I love you guys so much, and I wish you only the fucking best. And I really, really hope this helps. But until then, Scorps, I'll see you on the next one. And namaste.